Greetings listeners of the podcast Paleo Bites. Host Matthew Donald left his microphone in the car all the way down in his apartment building's parking lot, and since he's on the 3rd floor he's too lazy to go down and get it before this episode is due to release. Therefore, he's using this free speech-to-text program to read this message. What a lazy bastard. Anyway, he has a Patreon at patreon.com/MatthewDonald, where you can find bonus content every month. For Paleo Bites bonus content, we discuss pop culture featuring prehistoric animals, and this month we're talking about Jurassic World Dominion, the pretty good and allegedly final installment in the Jurassic Park/World franchise. But since it grossed almost $1 billion, you can expect the next Jurassic World movie by 2027 at the latest. Link is in the description. Thank you for your support. Now I better go get my recording equipment out of my car before it melts in this summer heat. It was very expensive. Have a good day. My apologies. Matthew Donald is having way too much fun with this thing. Just a reminder that he is a 31-year-old man with a job and a girlfriend and his own apartment. Please do not forget that. This message will self-destruct in 1 second.
Roar, growl, snarl, bellow.
Hold on, I have to burp.
Whoa, that was great. You mind if I leave that in now?
Yeah, you can. That was me. And they call me Tiny but Mighty.
Welcome to Paleo Bites, the podcast that's as gassy as the early Carboniferous period, I think. I might have done that one before. I don't know. It fits with this thing. Anyways, my name is Matthew Donald, and each week, I and a rotating series of guest co-hosts talk about and rate a genus of prehistoric animal, be it dinosaur, mammal, arthropod, and so on.
And they burp.
This week, we're joined by not only me, but I bring us both up because we're both two people who have recently been to Taco Bell. It is Christina Eilert. How are you?
Pretty burpy, apparently.
Yeah. Oh, I don't mind. As long as you don't mind.
I do not mind at all.
Yeah, again.
Girls burp.
Girls burp. Even though you just said they burp sparkles and...
2 seconds ago I did say that, but women are allowed to change their mind.
Yeah, that is the thing. I do like me a good pair of flip-flops anyway. Okay, so that's just completely derailed, and I just... Okay. If you had to...
Ignore the giggling.
I'm just trying to figure out how to incorporate this into the... Okay, so if you had to stand in front of the burp of a dinosaur...
Oh, man.
What would be the best one, and what would be the worst one?
Ooh, definitely something that ate veggies.
Would be the best?
Yeah.
You
Just
think?
because I think, like, the dinosaurs that were meat eaters still,
Yeah,
like,
they
they
have rotting
notoriously...
flesh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they still have rotting...
Can you imagine a T-Rex burping? Is like...
I'd imagine it has a lot of force behind it, too.
Yeah, just like it
Like-
blows you back
Yeah, like, totally knocks you off your feet.
and knocks you out from the pain of the smell.
Will tell you that rabbits have, like, no bad breath. So something that just, like, grazes would be great. Yeah, just a little whoop.
They just beep like a little robot.
Yeah.
Like an R2-D2.
Exactly.
Anyways. So, okay. That wasn't a very bad, that wasn't a very long question.
Something small, like a maybe squirrel-like.
Oh, squirrel-like, you
Yeah.
say. Huh. And speaking of which, we're talking about... Okay, I had to look up how to pronounce this. According to this thing, and I'm just going to believe it's Sciurumimus, or squirrel mimic. It looks like Sciurumimus?
Sciuru?
Oh, I'm thinking sci like science, you know.
Oh.
Or I guess there's also like schism, but I guess it's SCH. So SCI is like Sciurumimus, but no, it's Sciurumimus because Greek. Well, did they have squirrels in Greece?
I
Yes,
have
they
no
did.
idea.
Yes, they did. Of course they did.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's the Eurasian ground squirrels.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
there you go.
Yeah. So, in fact, there's that old I guess not story, but just that old adage. I get the old fun fact that like back in medieval times, before we, used logging and other stuff to destroy everything, a squirrel could run from Italy to Spain without ever touching the ground.
Oh, they're doing it to Romania now. It's very sad.
Yeah.
It's like the last untouched forest of Europe.
Yep,
And
it's like down it goes.
Ugh, I know.
Gotta make those papers.
Yep. Toilet paper.
Toilet paper. Gotta make farmland for the cows.
Yep. Exactly.
It's funny. I always liked the movie Fern Gully as a kid. And I've talked about it before, and you're like, I never liked it as a kid. I never saw it. I'm like, it probably doesn't hold up, but it's it's about this environmentalist sort of movie about this magical forest in Australia, in northern Australia, where there is a jungle, actually a little jungle, and but then these loggers come in, and then they unleash this toxic beast named Hexus or whatever. It's like it's all about against the logging industry. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is a 2D animated film. How do you animate a 2D animated film again? That's right, paper.
Oh God. They're like one small sacrifice in the service of all environmentalism.
Maybe they used green paper. Right? Maybe it was maybe use that weird kangaroo poop
like recycled paper.
Yeah, like so. Do what you preach. Practice what you preach. Anyways.
You're like giving them some serious side eye.
I still think that movie holds up-ish, again, but I haven't seen it in years, so maybe not. But parts I have seen of it, like the atmosphere was top-notch.
Which is important.
Okay, so we're talking about Sciurumimus, or squirrel mimic type, some sort of tetanuran theropod dinosaur, but what exactly is unknown as of yet. So the tetanurians, that means stiff tail, kind of. It's like like how sometimes in Jurassic Park or whatever, you see like the velociraptors big with like very like slithery like worm-like tail. No, they were very stiff.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. But like it was originally classified as a megalosaurid, a group of theropods more primitive than the tyrannosaurs and the carnosaurs, but later studies have shown it might be a compsognathid, more closely related to Juravenator, or the Jurassic hunter. Compsognathid, you know Compsognathus, little bitty chicken one?
I have no idea.
Second Jurassic Park, they made it like it's even smaller than Velociraptor, but it runs in like in swarms of like several dozen or whatever, and it can kind of bring you down.
Oh wow!
Yeah, pretty scary. Size 3.3 feet / 1 meter long. I mean, I don't have any weight, but probably pretty little. Probably like 2 pounds, 3 pounds.
Not too big.
Yeah, pretty little. Like a squirrel. Diet's carnivore, not like a squirrel.
Definitely not.
Oh, no, my parents' squirrel that they have at their place. Long story, listeners. He wants to eat me.
Yeah, we're both actually surprisingly terrified of him.
Yeah, he's just... Like, one time, like, my dad stuck his hand in there. I mean, he loves my dad. He lets my dad pet him. But he thought it was me because he saw me. And apparently, according to my dad, he, like, bit him and scratched him.
Oh, jeez.
It was like it hurt. Like.
Oh, I can tell you from our foster bunny who has bit me many times.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's not to be played with.
No, exactly. It's just like when I'm over there, he's like, "Oh, come here, let me give you a little hug and kiss." You know.
No. Well, and he's so fast.
He's like
oh my gosh, it's like a
blur. He's so ungrateful. I saved his life 3 times, listeners.
Come on.
More if you count all the times I've come in while my parents are out of town and gone to my parents' house and helped feed him.
There you go.
So that squirrel owes me his life several times over, and he's just ungrateful little shit. Anyways, so, he's cute though.
He's cute.
Time late Jurassic, 151 to 149 million years ago. Location Germany. It was described in 2012. Pop culture appearances, none I can find, alas, if I may make a squirrel pun. Aw, nuts.
Nice.
Okay. Feathers are quite the interesting structure, and you'd imagine that evolving so early in the dinosaur lineage, the early feathered creatures would have more of a proto-feather kind of covering, more akin to hair other than feathers. Indeed, often in reconstructions of dinosaurs, you see them with fur-like feathers rather than the more traditionally bird-like feathers we see today, kind of looking more like quills with little plumes rather than big and expansive leaf-like plumes.
Huh.
Some feathered dinosaurs later on, though, certainly had more advanced feather structures, like the dromaeosaurs, aka the raptors, which look more bird-like by the day.
Yeah, it seems like it.
However, these don't necessarily mean all the feathered creatures have basic fur-like covering. Some of them could get more specialized, and that's where Sciurumimus comes into play. Because it's a holotype fossil, which is nearly complete and very well preserved, has filamentous plumage at the tail base that's thicker than the rest of the body, akin to a squirrel. And that's where it got its name. Like, it's just imagine this cute little feathered thing with, like, but again, it's more like fur, like feathers. And it has a big poofy tail.
That sounds adorable.
Almost imagine it like almost having, like, raccoon stripes on it, like the squirrel Ice Age.
Aww.
So... Yeah, I don't know. The holotype also had a proportionally large skull and short forelimbs, indicating this was also a very young animal. Aww. Except that it died, so...
Oh, no!
Because, again, it died. That's how I have the fossil of it.
Wait, okay, so you have to tell me before I move on, what's a holotype fossil?
The holotype is the first specimen of the fossil discovered that was the basis behind the description of the species.
Oh, okay. Okay,
So, like,
cool.
okay, we have enough evidence here to say this is a Sciurumimus. So in my paper of Sciurumimus, the evidence of the fossils that I'm using, the specimen that I'm using, that's the holotype
Okay,
to
cool.
describe the initial description. So,
Oh, very cool. I didn't know that.
yeah.
Well, just like my last name, Eilert the dinosaur originated in Germany, which, fun fact, but unlike me, who knows the existence of at least one other Christina Eilert on Facebook, there's only been one specimen discovered by paleontologists.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, your name is kind of like friend of the show Matt Seifert's last name.
It's true.
Except everyone calls him Sievert.
Well, they call us Eilerts, too.
They
so
do? Eilert sound...
It's wrong.
You have to
yeah.
struggle to say Eilert.
It's just wrong. But tell me why you didn't go into that field again. Only one creature, one holotype, or what was it called? Holotype. Yeah,
Why
got it
didn't you
right.
go to the field of paleontology? Because it's hot.
It's hot, yeah,
It's
true.
laborious.
They're all in China.
Yeah, it's just like, you're in China, you're in Pakistan, you're in Morocco, you're in Mongolia. And, like, I know those places have, like, nice areas to them, like, nice urbanized areas, but not where the dinosaurs are.
Not where the dinosaurs are.
You're talking, like, Badlands.
Yep, you're like sweating.
Sweating, you got a pickaxe, you gotta lift heavy rocks.
Yeah, that doesn't sound pleasant to me.
No,
either.
nothing about the paleontology field sounds pleasant.
The writing paper sounds like fun.
I don't know about that
No?
either because
Oh, I like that. I'm a
because
nerd.
you got to be very technical with like this thing had like properly sized fenestra or whatever, and like the
Oh.
caudal vertebrae, like and like involved different peculiarities compared to the other types of tendon. I don't know. There's other sort of.
It's like too dry for you.
It's very very
Yeah.
dry. But again, there's some dinosaurs that have really cool names like Dynamo Terror or like Ninja Titan. So I guess paleontologists have some sense of humor.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, they definitely do.
Well, no, like I've said before on the show, the way I'd want to describe dinosaurs would be looking through the catacombs of a museum, seeing all the specimens that they have on display, be like, this one is assigned to this species, but I think it's different enough to be its own species. Write a paper on it. Boom, you can describe a new species without even leaving the building.
Yeah, there you go.
So-
that sounds much better.
Yeah.
No digging in the dirt,
No.
like dust in your mouth.
Dust in your mouth again, like, and also you gotta be very particular with your pickaxe, because if you don't, you'll damage the priceless fossil.
Exactly.
It's
It's
just-
very particular business.
Again, it's in the middle of nowhere, so like the food and the drink is whatever you bring along.
Yeah, true.
There's not gonna be electricity, so anything you can't have anything too cool. Like you can't really have a refrigerator for all the sodas. No Taco Bell in sight.
In case you've ever wondered why he did not go into the field, you have
No,
your answer.
no, I don't want to be a paleontologist, Mom.
We just want to talk about dinosaurs on the podcast.
I'm a casual fan. I mean, I know a lot more.
That's
than
the lie.
I'm a hardcore casual fan, but I'm still a casual fan.
Okay.
I think.
Well, when
I know
first-
what fenestrae are.
There you go, which I did not.
Like Triceratops, it doesn't have fenestrae, but its relatives do. It's like the holes in the frill.
Oh,
But Triceratops is notable; it doesn't have those holes. But let's see. Some depictions of them, like the Sinoceratops in Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, which, by the way, we don't think it had this in the real animal, but like it shows them with the holes in real life, when really they'd just be in the skeleton. But
not in the actual skin.
Remember this?
Oh, interesting.
There was like in
Yeah.
the movie. So that's the Sinoceratops. So those are fenestrae, those things.
But would it just be like a flap of skin, or would it
It'd just be a
actually
flap.
empty like that?
It'd be a flap. They think it would be a flap of skin.
Okay.
That was just to kind of lighten the load of that giant head.
Oh yeah, take off a little flap of skin. It's going to make a world of difference.
Well, I mean, it might. I don't know. It's just the hole there. I don't know.
Silly scientists.
I think it looks cool with the holes there. Some people are like, I don't like it with the holes. And I'm like, it probably didn't have the holes, but until we saw it in real life, we won't know for sure.
I mean, it definitely gives it a nice fashion aspect to it, but how realistic is it?
Who cares, I say? It's a movie. If it wanted to spew lightning breath, they were totally allowed to do that because it's a movie. I'm sure that's heresy in the paleontological community. Like, no, they got to be pictured accurately.
Yeah, but we don't quite know what accurate is.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing,
So-
too. Like, what's accurate now wasn't accurate 50 years ago.
We're always
And then-
learning.
and, like, 50 years from now, what's accurate now won't be accurate then either. Until we have time travel. And then we see the dinosaurs in the flesh and study them, we will never know.
Yeah,
So, movies, have fun with your creative liberties.
exactly.
Anyways, that's what I say.
But
Anyways, Sciurumimus.
When I first started to research this prehistoric creature, who I apparently and accurately assumed would be utterly adorable, I came across an article that was titled Rise of the Furry Dinosaurs, and I got even more excited to talk about this little critter. Like,
we love furry, fuzzy things, don't we?
I do, yes.
Do you like fuzzy tacos?
What is that? Is that a euphemism?
No, it does sound like. Oh, yeah. No, there's a place called Fuzzy Tacos.
Oh, okay.
Fuzzies, the tacos. No,
Uh,
I'm never gonna think about that place the same way again.
You're welcome.
Keep going.
It looks like scientists have proof from their findings that it was feathered, like you said before.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
From what I read, it looks like paleontologists may think that all predatory dinosaurs might have had feathers.
I don't know about all. Most of them for sure, but there's one like Carnotaurus or whatever that had these like scoots, like that kind of like spikes on the back of its skin. It'd be hard to have feathers with that too. And like T-Rex, we found like scale impressions that at least some parts of its body were scaly. But it's cool to imagine that some of them might have feathers like everywhere and stuff. And plus, we do know that feathers evolved before dinosaurs did, like pterosaurs, which are related to dinosaurs, but from an earlier, they branched off before either of them evolved. Some of them also have feathers too, not just pycnofibers, which is what we think some of them have, but feathers.
Oh, wow.
So the feather, unless they evolved it completely independently, which is unlikely, it evolved back before dinosaurs and pterosaurs split apart.
So you're thinking maybe people are getting a little ahead of themselves by thinking that all predatory.
Yeah, because like just because they evolved doesn't mean that they all had it. Like some of them might have lost them. Like and also like archosaur, like crocodiles don't have feathers, and they're also archosaurs like pterosaurs and dinosaurs. So I don't know.
Oh, there you go.
But
Well, I will say some of the photos of this small critter vary from like extremely adorable to moderately frightening. So I'm really not sure what to think of the animal.
I'm assuming most of the frightening ones involve like the head looks kind of off. This might be like the skull, like
Yeah, maybe.
because like and honestly like most paleontologists do. I mentioned this show I think once or twice, especially like paleo art. We tend to shrink wrap. Which is where like we just put the skin on the actual skull and then call it good. When really most animals do not look anything like their skulls.
Yeah.
Like, you've seen Lyra's head, right? It's nice and round. Cockatiel skulls look more like this.
Oh.
Yeah. Like, for listeners, I'm holding my hand out like a little crocodile looking like a flat thing. And I know this because I saw one.
Yeah.
My old bird, when we were burying in the backyard later on, my dad was digging up, and then he found a skull. Like, I think this was one of your cockatiels. I'm like, yeah, it was.
No, and I've definitely looked up like a Holland Lop rabbit skull.
Yeah.
Which, like, our Holland Lop, who's named Puppy, is like the cutest thing alive. He's a living stuffed animal.
But
like their skull is really weird looking.
It looks like one of those terrifying dragon-like creatures.
Like really squished face.
Squished face. It doesn't have like the big teeth. It's just like
they're just
yeah.
They're not what they look on the inside.
So many times we see creatures being depicted with like these big long like things like on their sides of their face. Like I'm like, no, there's skin there. There's skin there. Like,
yeah, what about muscle and like other sinew?
Skin, muscle. Yeah, like nothing. Like the only thing that looks exactly like its skeleton are crocodiles. Crocodiles look basically exactly like their skeleton.
Yeah, they do.
So, most other creatures, like there's a recurring joke, a recurring meme on paleo Twitter. It's like, all right, this is a skeleton. How aliens would design the animal. The animal. It's just, my favorite is the gerbil one, where it shows like a gerbil stuffing its face with like stuff, but the skull, the way the skull looks so freaky that aliens design this weird horrifying goblin thing.
Aww.
But like the animal's just like.
Exactly.
Anyways, let's rate Sciurumimus 1 out of 65 million.
Ooh. I'd say like maybe 33.
33? Oh, pretty much perfectly in the middle.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it like 40 million because it's cute. I think it'd be a good pet. Well, actually, no. It'd probably you probably have to feed it mice. That's why as much as I think snakes are cool, and I think it'd be kind of cool to have a snake for a pet. The fact you have to feed it live mice.
Yeah.
Nope, not about that.
You're out.
Not about that.
Not all of them.
Yeah. Well, I guess something you have to feed live crickets too.
True.
Like the lizards.
I feel less bad for the insects, but what if they get loose in your apartment or your
that's true.
house?
Yeah,
Nope.
Crickets are less cute. So.
Nope, I'm out.
But like, so my nephew, who has been on the show a couple times, he has a bearded dragon, and he got it when he was a baby. And even then, you're supposed to give it crickets, but you got to be careful because if you leave him there with the crickets, there's a chance when the bearded dragon's little, the crickets eat it instead.
What? No.
That's like sad, but that's also kind of darkly funny to me.
Oh.
Just like they eat each other like, until finally the bearded dragon gets too big, and then the crickets stand no chance.
How small do they start?
They're like
Really?
like a couple
Aw.
inches. I don't know.
Dang. Okay. I've heard they're surprisingly good pet though.
Yeah, no, they are, and they're cute, and they like being rubbing them on their throat
No.
with the little soft scales there, and like they like them.
I feel like out of a lot of the creatures that exist today, that might be like a close comparison of a pet that I might consider having.
What, like a
A
lizard?
bearded dragon.
Yeah, or like an iguana too. Iguanas are herbivores too. You can give it.
My friend has an iguana, but
Yeah.
they're just really big.
They're big and they got the big long claws.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think they're cool though, and I like the fact that they're herbivores. You can just give them leaves.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Yeah. Anyways, all right. Well, that's it for this week. Wait, did I rate it? Oh, I did. 50 million, right? I don't know, I
You
don't
did.
remember. All right. That's it for this week. If you want to get on the show, you can contact us at mattsd@matthewdoncreator.com. For any questions to either co-host, you can find me on social media at MatthewDonCreator on Facebook, at MatthewDon64 on Twitter, and MatthewDon64 on Instagram. Christina, would you like to continue to remain invisible, or do you want to plug something here?
Yeah, you can talk to me if you want.
Okay. Super Beetle Lover on Instagram.
That's the one,
Yep, Beetle like the bug and the car.
which we learned last time.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, check her out, but not in a creepy way.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, it's funny. This comedian was talking about like, Instagram is like the way we follow people on Instagram is so different from real life. It's like if you like we follow just random hot people on Instagram that we don't know.
I do think I am a random hot person, but
Yeah.
I'm also much weirder than I look.
Yeah.
And so looks are very deceiving.
But no, but it's just like you never follow a random hot person in real life and be like, oh yeah, fire.
No, definitely not. It'd be like, what are you
You'd be like,
doing?
call the cops.
Yep.
Anyways, all right. If you wanna, I have a book pursued on Amazon, Megazoic, available for print and Kindle. No Sciurumimus in there because I didn't know if it existed. But I can imagine this thing, like, maybe not like holding to that big of a gun. Maybe it's just like, maybe repairing the machines of the other dinosaurs, like
There you
climbing up
go.
on like a squirrel and just kind of using a wrench, like, bam, bam, bam.
I like it.
Yeah, anyways. All right, well, that's it for this week. I'll see you at the end of every episode of Paleo Bites.
As Matt says, bye.
Bye. Burp, burp, burp. What was that squirrel? Wait, what does a squirrel make? Like the squirrel that I have, my parents have, it really likes to chatter its teeth when it gets in. It's like ding, 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 ding. Anyways, bye.